Good evening. It is Wednesday, the 23rd of March, 2022, and I have a dream that I had back in January 17th, 2022, and I hadn't shared it yet because I really didn't know what the dream was about until after I had written out the dream. Then I asked the Lord for an interpretation of that dream. And so, being that it involves some people in my life, and that and some aren't in my life right now, I didn't post it yet because I was feeling like, I don't know, it was so personal that I decided not to. Well, I watched a video the other day from Elyse Marie, and she was sharing a dream that she had, and it actually, her dream was also actually about kingdom spouses, and God had revealed to her, I guess it sounds like, who her kingdom spouse is, and she was sharing a dream that was also about her future spouse that's not real in her life at this moment, as far as I can tell. And I will include a link to that video on the drop-down menu in this, but I just want to say that that actually challenged me to go ahead and post this. And then also I heard a message today from Kim Clement, and he was referring to revelations and talking about, when God gives us a revelation, and gives us some, insight as to what's coming in the future or what he's lined up for our lives, that we need to share it. And I've delayed on a lot of things that I haven't shared, and so I think I need to get better at that. But anyway, so this video, I just want to real quick share the dream itself, and then the next video I'm going to share the interpretation of the dream. So the first one is, so there was a line of limos. It's like we're driving on the road, and there's a line of limousines, and they were all like navy blue. And I was in a truck with a man. A man was driving in the truck, and in the back seat was a friend of mine that was actually a school teacher, and also a friend of our family. How it ended up being, and then there was another person, like a young boy, I don't know, maybe 12 years old. I'm not sure who he was. Maybe the driver's son or something, I'm not sure. So anyway, we're in this truck and we're driving on the road, and it's like just a 2-lane road, 1-lane road on each side, but 2 lanes total. And so we're driving, and then we come up on these limousines, and they're just like stopped. And so the driver of the truck goes to drive around the limousines, and as we're driving around the limousines, we notice that that one of the limousines was T-boned. It was like the second limousine was crashed into the first limousine, and so then, like, when we drove past them, there was like these looks on their faces, the second one that had been in the second there that would T-bone the other one, he just had this look on his face, his mouth was dropped open, and he's just like, his eyes are big as saucers, and he's like, and so so anyway, the truck driver, the driver of the truck, somehow what had happened is, then I see the other limousine, and it was a black guy in the first limousine that he just like pulled out, and then all of a sudden he's pulling ahead, and there's a big long heavy duty chain between the two vehicles. So all of a sudden he straightens out, and then he's pulling this second limo that had T-boned him. And so the truck that I was in, the person that was driving the truck, they were gonna just like go to the left, like onto the the same road or the other road or whatever. But instead, he turned right, and he, it's like the road, it went up, and then it went uphill, and then it like curved at the top. And for some reason, he decides to go in between the two cars with the long chain. And I'm like, no, don't do that. You're gonna cause an accident. And because he couldn't get all the way over because the chain, is of course in the middle of their lane, and so the truck was like in the middle of the oncoming traffic, and we're coming up to a curve, in the road. And so anyway, he wouldn't listen to me, so he had pulled over in between there, and then there was some point where it was like he parked, like his truck was stopped. All of a sudden his truck is stopped, and then what happened was, let's see, I wrote it down here. Then there was like a scene where the two drivers of the two first limousines, they got out of their vehicles, and one of them, the second one, which he was like a shorter guy, little overweight, and he was like Mexican. I mean, he looked Mexican, I don't know. He was just he may not have been Mexican, but he was dark complected, and I think he was more maybe Italian or something. But and then he's like stopped. I mean, he had gotten out of his vehicle and he's up ahead, and then he's like got flags, and he's like got his back towards the, behind his limo is behind him, but he's got his back towards that traffic that he was in that lane. And then all of a sudden, and he's got these flags, and he's like waving them, and then he like turns around and is waving them, facing his lane of traffic, and then all of a sudden he turns back around, and here comes this big black guy, tall guy. He actually reminded me of a guy I used to work for, and or worked with, I should say. And anyway, he comes walking up to him, and he pushes the guy, and he's like starts talking to him in Spanish, and then the shorter guy is like pushed back, and he's like, I'm not no Mexican, why are you talking to me in Spanish, like, and they're like pushing each other, and they're having this altercation. Well, then they notice that this truck that we were in is parked, and I'm like, it had actually stalled. Something happened, it stalled, so it wasn't drivable. So anyway, somehow they went over there, and they took the truck and like lifted it and turned it around, and like pushed it over in the other lane. And so then I was like, oh man, we got to get a ride, because we're going to some party, and I don't know if it was a birthday party or a wedding party, but it seemed like maybe, I don't know, we're going to some kind of celebration. And I was thinking, oh no, so somebody came around the corner, and then ended up being somebody that was going there, the same place we were going, and so we got a ride, and the guy with the truck had to stay behind. So then, let's see, what else happened? Okay, so then, so we got a ride, and so later at the party, maybe, it's like kind of like a restaurant in a hotel, or I don't know, but anyway, there was a long line. We were at like a barista table, tall table, and my friend and I, and one other person, seemed like there was a guy there, and had some food, and we were going to eat with my friend, and started eating. Oh, my friend started eating a sandwich, and I didn't have a fork, so I went to get a fork, and it was like I didn't want to walk past all the line. So I went in a side door up front and opened a drawer, and then picked out a fork. Let's see, and then I don't know, I guess I must have put another fork back and used a different one or something. So I walked through the door into another door to my business kitchen to get my own fork, so I wouldn't have to return the restaurant's fork, I guess. So not for sure what kind of party, birthday, or wedding. So anyway, that was the end. So I don't know why I didn't remember that part, that it was like this was next door to my business kitchen. That's crazy. I don't remember that. So so anyway, so that's the description of the dream itself. And so I'll do another part 2 that shows the interpretation of the dream. So stay tuned for that. Okay, God bless and take care. Have a great weekend coming up, or week, whatever. Thank you. God bless. Okay, bye.